Come and meet the team at Hereford Diocese. This week, we meet Sam Pratley, Diocesan Secretary.
There's something in our culture that compels us to ask what other people do for a living. This provides me with a regular opportunity of answering the question, "A what? A Diocesan Secretary?" in a way that makes sense to folk who've hardly ever been to church, let alone ever heard of a diocese. After 5 years in post, I still find it tricky, but each time it presents me with an opportunity to talk about my faith, and it nearly always leads to a conversation about the other person's experience of church, which all too often is they went when they were young, but not anymore. Or I think my mum goes. Almost without fail, I'm asked if I need to be religious to do the job. I tend to answer no, but I do need to have a strong faith, and I do go to church, albeit not an Anglican one. Soon the conversation slips into the job itself. There are 42 English dioceses, including Europe and Sodor and Man, each one having a diocesan bishop, a director of education, and a diocesan secretary or chief executive. So we are a slightly endangered species. This is made worse with about 30% of them having left their role or retired during the pandemic. The role is certainly challenging. As the chief executive of a large faith-based charity, the diocesan secretary has all the legal responsibilities which come with this, but not necessarily the ability to control very much of it. The relationships between the national church, the diocese, the bishop and his office, the cathedral and individual PCCs and benefices are crucial in making the whole thing work, so that the role is far more about collaborating and influence than making any decisions for yourself. The diocesan secretary works very closely with the diocesan bishop to steer the diocese. There's no clear distinction between tasks, but the bishop is more directly responsible for the clergy and leading the spiritual and strategic direction of the diocese, with the diocesan secretary more responsible for managing the finances, the staff, the assets, the legal compliance matters, acting as the chief officer of the Diocesan Board of Finance, which is the company or charity which owns the assets and pays for everything. In addition to these responsibilities, I found I've needed to act as a troubleshooter and invest my energies into the things that will have the biggest impact. For our diocese, this has involved me stepping in to oversee the transition from the Bishop Anthony Educational Trust to the Diocese of Hereford Multi-Academy Trust, alongside transforming our education approach for the 78 Church of England schools in the diocese. It has involved turning small fields, historically worth about £70,000, into significant assets for sale for around £3.3 million. Dealing with endless problems, often being the one who have to have the difficult conversations. We've made budget savings in excess of £700,000, which in our context as the lowest spending diocese is a significant amount. The role is hugely varied and the inbox is often very full, but that makes it incredibly rewarding. Lockdown life has been especially hard. With 3 children, now aged 13, 11 and 9, a wife working in the NHS, I did nearly all of the homeschooling, cooking and housework whilst working full-time. I was often multitasking, solving maths problems, or asking children to stop shouting while zooming into a meeting. While other families were posting pictures of family bike rides and perfect gardens, my family were crowded around the kitchen table, tired, stressed and irritable. Despite this challenge, I was still determined to make sure that the church did its bit to be visible in the wider society during the pandemic. And I worked hard with our partners in the council and the NHS to set up the Home Safe service, demonstrating just how effective the church community can be in supporting those in need. Our existing network of volunteers and charitable organisations provided a range of crucial interventions at a time of crisis. In my spare time, I'm a board member of Close House Projects, the chairman of Herefordshire Venture, a district Cub Scout leader and a football coach for Westfield's football coach, as well as being a member at the Hereford Baptist Church. So I hope the decisions over how I spend my time also reflect my priority to see my faith in action. I'm hugely motivated to see more people come to faith and feel strongly that God has called me to this role to use what gifts I have for this purpose. I also find time to have a lot of fun. We have wild adventures as a family. Just last summer of 2019, we converted a minibus and drove around 26 European countries. I play cricket for Cannon Froome and follow Wolverhampton Wanderers, often quite noisily when they're on the telly. It never ceases to amaze me just how many times the different aspects of my work and personal life collide to open doors and create opportunities for conversations. Right now, we have a brand new senior team, a strong asset base and some outstanding clergy and laity. We do have all of the challenges of being a very small, rural diocese, short on people and resources, with many buildings and small communities to contend with. But with some smart investment and continued commitment from our existing people, we should be confident that we're well placed to see God's work in our diocese.